Hello and welcome to a brand new video tutorial. I'm Anna Marie from Anna Marie Designs, and today I have part 3 of series of how to create your own backgrounds. In part 1, if you watched a video tutorial, I started with creating simple backgrounds by simply inking, splattering, and I hope you watched that tutorial. Now in part 2, and this is the card from part 2, was about introducing a few other elements. Now in this part, part 3, I will be introducing, I think, 3 or 4 different elements still in order for you to create more dimension on your backgrounds, in order to enhance your backgrounds. These things are supremely easy. Now I am only using 3 colors ink pad, and I'm actually sticking to the same color so you could see the journey, and I keep using that word, but simply this is a journey on how you can start very simply and build upon what you really want to end up with. It's very easy. I hope you will find it inspiring, and I hope you will create your own stunning backgrounds. Thank you. So before I begin, let's do a little recap of what I already have in front of me. So from the video tutorials part 1 and part 2, I have my inking done, and as a reminder, I used the eggplant Adirondack, and I also used the peeled paint Distress Oxide and antique linen Distressed Oxide as well. Mount, as you can see, I've got the inking, as I mentioned. I have a stenciling done using the trellis panache die. Let me just show you. That's your die. So this is your stencil. I also have roughed up edges, shaky lines going all the way around my mount, and just little highlight on 2 sides of my flowers. Now, these are the things that I obviously did in my first 2 tutorials, so you can see it again as a reminder. That was the first card. This one was the second card when I added the stenciling. And the only thing we haven't got on this mount just yet is the paint splatter, but that can be done later on. Okay, so at this point, what I am going to do, I am going to introduce another little technique using the different colored ink pads. And for that, you will need a little acrylic block, clean water, chosen color ink pad. So I'm using the eggplant here because obviously it matches with my mount. And I'm going to stamp just in a couple of places, obviously on the lighter side of my mount. So this is really lovely mottled texture that we can achieve if we wanted to. And of course, you could add a little bit more onto the darker parts as well. Now, so this is a lovely, beautiful splatter that we have at the moment. I'm going to actually introduce different color, and I'm going to use the antique linen. And again, I can actually place it in the same spots, and that is giving me slightly different color altogether. Right, so this is a wonderful way of applying your textures and also patterns to your mounds. Obviously, I'm just using up what I already have on my acrylic. And I'm going to leave this to the side because one other job that I want to do using the green color, it's actually the wool leaf dyes. Now, so as you can see, I've already inked up my leaves a little bit, and now I'm just going to actually introduce the peeled paint onto it. So we've got nicely matching mottled effect. Okay. And I will be stamping it onto my whiter areas. Very quickly. And I'm going to leave this to the side. What I am going to do now is introduce my modeling paste from Viva Decor. It's a really lovely mixed media product. If you wanted to obviously stencil with or add some stippling to our project. So I'm going to need the palette knife. Right, and now onto our paste. So I'm just going to give myself a little dollop onto my mound. And you will need a little sponge. Just load your paste onto the sponge. So we can just start stippling a little bit on my edge here. So this is a great way to actually tone it down any of your colors on any kind of card that you might have. Obviously, we can use the modeling paste through a stencil, okay? So what I've already done, I pre-prepared this particular lovely stencil, and this is one of our dies as well from the border adornments, I believe. And I'm actually going to use this particular part here. Okay, what I'm going to do is to use my palette knife and of course my stencil. And that's my stencil. Isn't this lovely? The same thing, okay, I'm going to bring the same design onto my side here. And voila. So this is another die that actually is serving a second purpose, stenciling. I find these things absolutely amazing. And obviously the beauty about it is the fact that we already have it as a die. Now, one thing I'm going to do is use the leftover of my modeling paste to stipple my flower. Okay. So my flower is pre-prepared just to save time for this particular video, but I will be doing another video tutorial just on a primrose flower, how to create this beautiful, beautiful thing. So a little bit of modeling paste loaded onto a sponge, and we can bring it onto a couple of our petals. You don't have to be solid with our stippling, just adding a little bit of interest. And most importantly, bringing that stippled effect onto almost every part of our project. Okay? Right, so now on to assembling a project. Double-sided tape to our base card. Right, so my mount is down, and all I can do now is literally just move some of my edging and bring it inwards into my actual card. And now onto the actual arrangement. So I have my natural fiber, because it's absolutely beautiful, and you only need a little bit of this beautiful thing. I'm just going to place it in the middle, slightly spread. And now we're just going to bring our wallflower leaves. Okay, what I am going to do with our wallflower leaves, I'm going to slightly curve them in the middle here. And you can see how beautifully textured these are now. Okay, so there you go. A quick dollop of my glue right in the middle. One little thing that I'm actually going to add as well is, well, a circle or two actually of dotty bubble circles. And this one's a beautiful, beautiful frame that I have here. And perhaps I will introduce the in-betweens, the leftover in-between as you cut them out, because they are nested. So I'm just going to bring one here, one here, and also the same thing with the waist. Right, so I have this lovely mount as it is, and you can see everything I did in the part 1 and part 2 of our video tutorials, you can clearly see, plus the mottled effect, obviously in our corners, in a couple of areas here and there. We have the stippling, and we have a stencil. Okay, so now on to applying a flower, and this is the beautiful primrose flower. Like I mentioned before, I will be doing a separate video tutorial on how to create this primrose flower. But for now, let's place it on a mount. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Absolutely lovely. Now, a little one, obviously, we can introduce here. I think that would be very nice. Now, before I bring my fabulous typewriter message into the mix, okay, I would like to do the splatter effect now. Okay, so in a moment I'm going to show you obviously my original card, so you can compare the two. But splatter first. For this particular card, I'm actually going to use the Deco Art paint. Now, any paint will actually be good enough for you. And of course, all you have to do is just dilute it with water if it's too thick. Right, so this is beautiful. And now I'm just going to add my beautiful message and the project will be done. So I have this one message, have a fabulous birthday, which I've separated and I mounted it onto white piece of card. So that way we can place it into different areas. So my project is done. I hope you like it. Now let me show you the original and let me show you what I meant by stippling, by splattering right at the end. Okay, so this is on my original and of course I placed everything, literally everything, including my message, onto my project and then I splattered with the paint. So obviously you've got more frosty, more sort of a mixed media kind of effect. And obviously it's more black, more bold looking on this particular project here. Equally, each splatter that I created is different in different place with a different intensity, okay? And that what makes each project completely different. Now, if you look at my flowers, they're also slightly different. Now, that's the beauty about creating a background. The background can be created on literally anything, not only on your mount, but actually on your leaf and on your flower and on anything you desire. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial and I hope you can join us again very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.